Hello and welcome. It has been a week, and I think I'm going to title this episode Whoopsie Danxiety because, sometimes a week starts off and we think to ourselves, well, this week is just spoiled. And you get to lunch on Monday and you realize, we haven't actually started the week, so maybe we'll just write this off as a bad morning. And how frequently do we do things like that where we have bad days and we're able to move on from them? And yet at the same time, oftentimes I feel in my own life that those moments will repeat themselves frequently where small things, particularly, again, I work in troubleshooting. So if I have to hold the screw steady and screw it in, if that screw falls to the ground, I might as well just consider myself unemployed because my self-respect goes, just through the ground as I have to climb down the ladder and then back up the ladder to hold the screw in place again. And 9 times out of 10, I'll drop it again. And I don't know if it's just the way my hands grip things or that, when it gets cold out, the screw and my fingers are just incompatible with one another. Darwin talks about us evolving to be able to handle tools, and at the same time, no one talks about the small machine screws. The Industrial Revolution low-key kind of screwed us over as a species, but we don't really talk about how far we've advanced through the technological revolution shortly following the Industrial Revolution to where our productivity as workers is through the roof, and yet we feel more incompetent than ever because the bourgeois class continuously oppresses us with their excessive capital and forceful, ideology that they try to imprint on us under the guise that it's the way society's meant to be operated. But interestingly enough, if you look in the history books, people were not meant to work 40 hours a week. That just feels like such a ridiculous thing. And every year we do more and more work and we struggle more and more in society because the rich continue getting richer. And I said in a previous episode, the only good money does is when it's spent. And the issue is, at a certain point, these rich people truly are incapable of spending the amount of wealth they have in any way that meaningfully contributes to society. And that's what I mean when I say that hoarding of wealth is economically irresponsible. The fact that we do nothing about it is incredibly sort of problematic in my mind. I would have thought that anyone developing a system of capitalism would understand that the finances used to sort of propel society forward would just as easily be able to be lifted up and then used as a roadblock in order to line the pockets of the wealthy. But I don't know much about that. I'm just a woke YouTuber who's a trans veteran. Although this past week, I think I've been confronting a lot of my preconceived notions about communism, and that has been an adventure. I don't know how to say this, but why wouldn't we want a system where we aren't oppressed by people who have more capital than us? Is it because we want the idea of dreaming that we can one day be rich? But we look at how many people aren't rich relative to the top 1%, and the number says it all. It's 99% of us out here fighting for crumbs. And I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot this week. It's been weighing on me. Kind of like I've been thinking about how I said I wasn't going to talk about the Navy, and then the military ban went through, and I don't know how to deal with all of it. It's a lot, but what I think is most interesting is that my anxiety has gotten almost better this week because, again, on Monday I had a bad day, but it happens to the best of us. And I started reading, I'm working on a workbook with my therapist, and one of the exercises is called a here and now stone. And I thought to myself, well, this is, carry a rock around and feel it whenever you want to be present. Well, I was surprised how frequently I get lost in the abstract and in the past. And when you have a rock in your hand and you can feel it in your hand and you can change the way it feels simply by moving the way you're holding it in your hand, that level of control brings you into the present in a way that's I don't know, hard to get worried about the people off making fake numbers get bigger. And I still think that there is a solution out there where we can work this all out. But until we get to that point, I think I'm just going to be, work, school, Dark Souls. I did manage to get my computer fixed, so that's in order. I'm going to be reaching out and seeing if, I don't know, I really would like to increase the participation, and I know we're past the deadline of the Dark Souls Woke extravaganza, but I just, I want a friendly event. So I've been working to try and get at least a few more people to join, and it's, going about as well as I can hope. I think one of the things that I want everyone to, take with them this week is that a month ago I had no idea how to merge, and now I'm leading a part-time revolution. And maybe my part-time revolution doesn't do anything, but you being here makes you a part of my part-time revolution. And that support, we are going to make a difference. We at least see that the world isn't where it should be, and we at least recognize that, good exists. I think it's easy to get caught up in the bigotry because of the way mob mentality works. When I was younger, there was a book called To Kill a Mockingbird. It was required reading in schools. So like every other student at the time, I read the cliff notes of it. Like Boo Radley, he was a goofball. But there's a scene at the courthouse where the people are sort of carrying torches and pitchforks, and they're coming after the alleged criminal of the story, an African American. And Atticus starts calling out, Atticus being the lawyer who's representing the accused, and he starts calling out members of the town individually, and like each one of them starts to realize, hey, this isn't me. This isn't what I actually stand for. I'm better than this. And it's unfortunate that, white people literally have to come to the point where they want to kill people before you can be like, hey, is that really what you believe? And then they go, oh my bad. Do you know us white people? I don't know. I fucking sometimes can't stand them. I apologize. Not to say all white people or whatever, but fucking, I don't know. I feel like a great point was made on the last video. I mentioned Grand Theft Auto 5, but that's my own cultural bias because I forgot completely about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. CJ is absolutely the best protagonist of any Grand Theft Auto game, and I completely skipped over it because I'm fucking white. So then I thought about the game with white and black people instead of the game that truly represents diversity, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. They have it all. I mean, those Hauser brothers, they did a number. Take-Two Interactive really has, or Rockstar, I'm sorry, I don't know who does what. That's beside the point. Anyway, it started off rough, but there are little things we can do in our own lives that make big differences. I think being kind to others is the easiest way we can see how simple changes can make big differences. And again, as we are kind to others, we start to see that it's not that challenging to be kind to ourselves. And as we're kind to others and ourselves and start seeing the love that we have in our world, we can start to look at the bigger picture where there isn't a whole lot of love. And we can say, well, you know what? If a flame burns in the night, all the darkness goes away for as far as the light can see. And light goes pretty far. As far as I can tell, you look up in the night sky and you can see stars bajillions of miles away or whatever, is like that Carl Sagan fella from the Cosmos show would say. But oftentimes we get so caught up in these random politics that eventually we're fighting the straw man hypothetical of some conservative's nightmare. And it's like, who are these people exactly hunting. If they're hunting woke Marxist ideology, I think I'm right here, unfortunately. Honestly, strange turn of events. I got the COVID vaccine, came out as trans, got kicked out of the military, went to higher education, and I am literally exactly what they don't like. And I don't know how to say this, but it just happened. The more I read, the more I realize more people should be reading. Anyway, this is just a small update. I know I said I was going to film an episode, but this is, I guess, more an intermission. Next week, I'm going to have The Painted World of Ariamis, I promise, and I'm going to try and share not necessarily like, oh, here's what's going on in my life, but the ways in which I'm able to share love in my life with those around me. Because these little things, such as like a here and now stone to keep present, or again, holding the door open, these are small things that we can do to make the world a little better for our neighbors. And if we make the world better for our neighbors, one day our neighbors won't be struggling, and our neighbors will be of such goodwill that they'll return our kindness back to us. And it's not because we get paid back that we do goodwill, but it's because one day we will live in a world where we are able to pay each other back because we don't have the filthy capitalists scraping off the profits of our labor. Anyway, this has been a brief intermission with Sticky Basket. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll put a little bit more effort into the next one to get some real good cohesion going. I got this one idea. I want to talk about Tim Pool having a small Mike Johnson, but I'm still workshopping it. Anyway, that's just a little treat preview for sticking around till the end. I'll be here all week. Well, I got work, school, and I'll be here. I'll be back. I promise. I'll be back. Thanks for watching. Bye.